Thank you for staying with us. Welcome to our special feature, and we're pleased to have with us Korede Ayeni Olamide. He's MD CEO of Agrolocale and Food Locale, as we explore how Agrolocale is combining agriculture and real estate to create new opportunities in investment, food production, and sustainable living. Welcome, Mr. Korede Ayeni.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, Agrolocale, Food Locale, what is it about, and what gap is it trying to fill in agriculture?
Okay, Agrolocale is an agro-realty company, but it's also an agribusiness, right, where we curate experiences around agriculture, particularly giving people an entry point into agriculture. Back in the days, or a few years ago, a lot of people would have a lot of bad things to say about agri-investment. And that came from a lot of miscommunication or lack of communication, right? And some people see agri-investment as a get-rich scheme, which it is not, right? And one of the things that we are trying to do is to focus young people to see agriculture as a viable opportunity, but at the same time, we are very realistic with our offerings. For instance, instead of you expecting a mirage of what agriculture could give you, the realism is that you know what you are getting. For instance, if you are cultivating a plot of tomato, you know what the expected yield or estimated yield from that plot is, and then you know what the projected revenue is, because there are certain factors that determine those things in terms of market prices, price unpredictability, market variations, and all of that. So what we do with our ecosystem is to make sure that younger people look towards land ownership, but then they also get the extra value of Agrolocale cultivating these things for them. And then Food Locale is our distribution network. Yes.
Okay. So what are some key projects people have already benefited from through the Agrolocale?
Okay, we have projects across Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan. In Ibadan, we have about 65 acres of land where we are currently building a resort, a farm resort actually. And in Abeokuta, we have some projects, right? There's one called Bounty Harvest. There's another called Paradiso, right? Where we are cultivating yam, sweet potato, pepper, tomatoes, maize, and cucumber. For instance, on one of our farms, we have over 15,000 heaps of yam planted already. Over 15,000, right? And we have over 10 to 15 acres of plantain. We have acres of pepper, tomato, but we are really just focused on the market, right? Because we are trying to get into the game of food security, trying to make food available, right? And all of this is really benched upon people seeing that agriculture can give them what they want. But you need to understand that these things take time, or it takes a process. So for instance, you come into our ecosystem, you know that tomato cultivation takes a certain period of time. There's a certain period of time for commencement of harvest. Then there's a certain period of time to sell that harvest to get the revenue expected, right? So it's just a realism of agriculture, step by step.
It's very interesting. So that means you are putting food into the market.
Yes.
Which is, for me, that's a big, and I'm looking at you, you're so young. And I'm so impressed. I love young people. The young people of today are not like the young people of my day. We were all working, going to office. People are, out there trying to make money. I'm very impressed. Sorry.
Thank you.
I just went out of the box.
Thank you.
That's my question.
Okay, since you've spoken about young people, I would want to ask how you're making agriculture interesting for young people.
Good question. One of the things that we have actually been very particular about since we started has been to curate experiences. Gone are the days where it's just the man, the hoe, and the land. And then where they would take camera, they would just show one man. So agriculture can be an experience. And Agrolocale is a testament to that fact. Right from when we started, we had started, I don't think we'd had any company that had done it like that, the way we've done it. We started with farmers market events, where we brought people to our farm to buy our harvested produce on the farm. Right? We have our POS where they would pay through. It gave an experience. They also did rock climbing, right? Because this is outside Lagos now. So, I mean, there needs to be something that draws them away from the city life. And then we also did harvest hangouts, where we brought people to the farm, come and harvest our tomatoes with us.
So what I see is agriculture/lifestyle, and that's what the young people are into these days.
Exactly, because
I can give you my number so that when you have the next harvest.
So I mean, after that, we did harvest hangouts where we brought people to the farm to harvest tomatoes, pepper with us, and it gave them an experience. Then I also thought to myself that charity begins at home. So if we are giving this value out to the public, let me start it with my staff at Agrolocale. So recently we just started an initiative called Work from Farm Week, where once every 3 months, the office staff go to the farm to join the farm staff. And there's that synergy all through the week. We are working from the farm. We are doing all of the transplanting together, all of the nursery preparation together. There's cooking competition.
Amazing.
There are sessions where they meet with, they have meetings with the HR to align our goals as a company. And then there are also treasure hunts, right? Where staff go to win, just to encourage them, right? Go to win TV, fridge, all those things that motivates them, right?
You have to come.
Okay, so as interesting as that is, and of course it shows that you've put a lot of thought into it.
Yes.
What also attracts people into the agribusiness is investment. So what makes the combination of agriculture and real estate such a strong investment strategy?
All right, so I think that people tend to think of agriculture as, oh, let me just farm. But you don't know that who owns the land actually makes the decisions, right? So what we are trying to change is that you get to own tangible assets, which is land. Then we are giving you the extra value of the cultivation that can be done. Now, there are certain modes of cultivation. For instance, if we were doing oil palm, we can concentrate it on every person's plot, right? But if we are doing things that are quite delicate and fast-moving, like tomato pepper, one of our values is we concentrate it within the company reserved area, whereby we already have about 3 boreholes. We have all the irrigation drip tips lined up. We have about 2 reservoirs, 10,000 liter tank, right? And on our farm already, it makes this repeatable because we are resident on the farm. It's not a farm that we visit. We have our staff lodge on the farm with about 12 bed spaces. We have a sick bay. We have a farm nurse. We have public toilets on the farm for people who want to visit the farm.
Wow.
We have an admin building with a conference room on the farm, right? We have an office. We have a farm storage. We have a common room where our staff can gather at weekends just to chill, right? And then we also have a pack house where we do all of the sorting, the harvesting, and all of that. So,
yeah. So as interesting as it sounds, there will be challenges. So what are these challenges, and what efforts are you making to address them?
I mean, there are challenges every day in business. And one of the challenges we had to face was we had to do our parts. When the government was supposed to step in, we just went ahead to do it. For instance, when we acquired the Paradiso project, it's over 95 acres of land. There was no road access. There are like almost 10 to 20 communities from the express to the project. We had to spend about 2 weeks grading the road from the express down to the project, right? Just to make sure that when we are harvesting, there is no breakage, just to make sure that when we are harvesting, we don't experience spoilage, and logistics is easier.
So easy distribution because the roads are better. Well
Absolutely.
Done.
Yes, so I wanted to ask you, I know investors would want to visit. What kind of experience would they get when they come around? What should they expect, the experience and the returns when investors are visiting?
Okay, so one of the things that we like to do is we like to take clients on consultations. We want to know what you want to achieve. Because if you come into our ecosystem and you say, oh, you want to make 100 million in 6 months, as now. Do you understand?
It's not possible.
It's not.
That's very honest.
It's a
Thank
mirage,
you.
right? We try to understand what you want to achieve. We let you see the realism. This is not possible. Okay, this is possible.
Okay.
Then we tilt you towards our side to see these are our offerings. This is what it can give. This is the risk, but this is the worst case scenario. This is the best case scenario. So there's like a benchmark, right? And all of those informations are projected in such a way that there's a farm agreement that is tied to you. So you know what you're expecting at the end of the day, right? It's just to make sure that all of this is repeatable as best as possible.
So we hear that you have a new project, the Agrolocale cottages.
Yes.
How does that blend with the farming and the resort living lifestyle, the resort lifestyle?
All right. Agrolocale cottages is inside a project called Elysian Farm and Resort. Elysian Farm and Resort is a project in Ibadan, and we have well situated it in a place that is accessible. We are trying to make sure that people can farm and people can also experience relaxation, right? At the end of the day, Agrolocale cottages is a 1-bed, 2-bed, 3-bed style development where you can come into our ecosystem, get to the welcome arena, the welcome center. They take you in. The shuttles take you from the welcome center to your lodge, right? Elysian Farm and Resort at Agrolocale cottages is actually also close to the Olamide train station. So, for instance, you take a booking from Lagos, you jump on the train. Our shuttle will be at the train station to pick you to the resort.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and we are focused on precision farming in Elysian Farm and Resort, greenhouse farming, strictly, right? So that every food that is being served in the restaurant at the resort is grown on the farm.
So if I go and stay there, I can farm and take food home.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay, final question for someone who's watching right now and would like to consider investing in farmland today. What are the first steps that they should take?
All right, so what we usually do is we don't usually rush people. We need you to understand and hear our story first, because I strongly believe that no one can tell our story like we can, right? And that's why at Agrolocale we are very particular about telling our own story, right? So I would need them to go on our YouTube, go on our social media, check our offerings, see what we are doing. Then they can reach out to us via our contacts, just to make sure that, when they are coming with a certain level of information, right? Then we can have a conversation, right? So are you expecting to grow tomatoes? We'll let you know this is the time, this is the harvest commencement period. If it's pepper, if it is sweet potato, if it is yam.
So they can choose their crops.
So we create the offerings.
Okay,
but
they
then,
select the one that they want.
select the one they want, yes.
Informed selecting, because some people are not farmers. They will just, but they can rely on you to give them proper advice on the selection. Thank you again for joining us, Mr. Korede Olamide Ayeni. Thank you for joining us, and we're wishing you all the best with Agrolocale and Food Locale.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll look at hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.